Okay, so let's go on to part 2 of these purple prefixes, punctual, future, and past. We just got done doing future, so now we're going to do past tense, or what's referred to as factual. So if we explain it a little, past tense can also be referred to as factual. It did happen. It's over and done with. It's in the past. It's a fact. At times, it can be used as something that's happening right now. But for simplicity, let's just use it as a past tense for how we want to use it. So you have some rules. Some of the things that's going to come before your prefix is going to be what, W-A glottal, what. So you're going to use what if the pronoun starts with the Y. All right. This doesn't include the ya, that him to you, because as we talked about earlier, this is actually H-Y-A. But you'll see it in something like yonki, yesa, yeti. All right. So wa onki. Wa plus yonki becomes wa onki. Wa plus yesa, wa esa. Wa plus yeti, wa eti. So you can kind of see what's going on here. Wa onki, wa esa, wa eti. So that's for the ones that start with Y, even if the Y is in the parentheses. You're going to use wa. This one's different, right? It doesn't have a glottal stop. It's just wa. All right. So wa is for all the ones that start with the letter H. So stuff like hey, haste, homo, those all start with the letter H. All right. So if we take hey, wa, and hey, now it's going to blend together and become Y. Y. This wa and then the ya, that's the one we just talked about. This one, him to you, just becomes wa ya. And then you have wa homo becomes wow wo. Wow wo. So you can see like that H just kind of drops off. You have the wa and you have the omo. There's just no more H in here. Same thing here. There's no H, and same thing. There's still the E from hey, but the H is gone. So don't want to talk too much like about that stuff though. Not the rules, anyways. So if it doesn't start with a Y and it doesn't start with the H, that's where you use O. O glottal. Okay, you just use O glottal. And let's turn this on real quick so nobody can. All right. So O. Okay, so here's all your prefixes again for C stems. Again, me to people, you to people, him to people, her to people, us to him, and him to us to her to us. So let's isolate some of these. We said we're going to use what, W-A glottal, if it starts with Y. Here's all the ones that start with Y. So we should get wa onge, wa esa, wa ondade, or wa ondaj, wa onda, wa eti, wa onki. So let's see that happen, right? Those are the ones we're going to use. So the examples here. Onge, wa onge again. She saw me. Yesa, wa esa no kwats. She got mad at you. Ondaj, wa ondajende. She met her. Eti, wa eti yons. We visited her. Onki, wa onkiat tegeha. She helped us. All right. So just some examples. You can always rewind this, pause it, and kind of examine these. All right. More prefixes. Again, back to the base here of all your purples. Now we start. We're going to use wa if it starts with the letter H. Whoops, kind of went back there. We're going to use wa. So the ones that start with H are all these ones. Hey, heise, hage. This would be hia, ho, homo. All right. And we're going to use wa, so it's going to blend in, right? We said y, weise, weis, weish, y, wage, wog, walk, waya, wow, wawmo. So let's do that with some examples. Wayat dago. I chose him. Wayat dago. This one is haste, weis noit. You liked him. All right. Wagegen. He saw me. For hage. Wagegen. The ya, waya. Wayaya disas. For ho becomes wow. Wow kwanon. He fed him. Howo, wawo. Wawo ye no. She arrested him or she caught him. All right. So a little bit on these rules, just kind of talked about it in there. Wa and he becomes y. Wa and haste becomes weiss. Wa and ha becomes wa with a lengthen. Same thing here. We have wa and ha, but we have this di too. Wadi. We still have wa and ha, so we have wa, but we have ge. Wa ge. This one we have hago. Wa go. Wa and ho becomes wow. We still have wa and ho, but this di is there too, so wowdi. And then wawo. Wa ho wawo. Waya. Waya. Okay, so back to these. If it doesn't start with the letter Y, it doesn't start with the letter H, then you use O in front of everything, right? So we do O, and it's going to be in front of all these. So these are the ones, the you to me, me to you to me to her, you to her, him to her, us to him, and him to us. So these will all be O gong, O ke, O ske, O she, O sago, O sedwa, O songwa. All right, so let's do that. Let's do some examples. O goya dageha, I helped you. O skende, you met me. O kegwa, I picked her up. O seoi, you told her. O sagoya dageha, he helped her. O sedwaya dos, we wrote to him, or we texted him. O songwa kwanon, he did feed us, or he fed us. All right, so we're just using O for all those ones. Again, none of these start with the letter Y or the H. So we're using O. And that's the end of the past tense ones. You can feel free to rewind that one. If not, then I'll see you for a little bit of a simpler breakdown on part 3. That's just going to have straight up examples and not so much explanation.